Welcome to Bobia. It is in the valley, at the foot of the Trome mountain range of Bobia, that the Bete populations, part of Godrapa and Sassandra, finally decided to settle and build a new living environment. To find this wonderful little village in the Ivory Coast, you will have to go 270 kilometers from Abidjan, where 800 cheerful people, the population of Bobia, welcome you. Welcome to Bobia. Here in Bobia, the land of the swings, you will discover a small treasure that has always been welcome to development initiatives. Bobia, despite the harshness of its environment and poor conditions, has potential, and the overall vision of its nationals make this plot of land a nugget of gold, although a little muddy. Bobia is a pilgrim on the road to development, and yet serious challenges remain to be met before embarking on the splendid dream of the Bobia of tomorrow. Since their settlement on their current site, populations of Bobia have worked actively to make their environment viable. Mainly rice and vegetable farmers, and then cocoa, the ancestors had to tighten their belts and make great efforts to guarantee the well-being of their families. Poverty present, parents have kept in the depths of their hearts the dream of making Bobia a place where life is good. However, Bobia is a place where its people take initiative. In the 70s, it was necessary to travel several kilometers to get to the surrounding villages to receive education or even wait for the visit of the only missionary teacher who came from Tipadipa. In 1980, the peasants of the time joined their efforts and their meager means at the cost of many sacrifices to build the first primary school of Bobia with 3 classes. This school opened its doors 2 years later. Today, being educated in Bobia is the business of a school group of 6 buildings comprising of a kindergarten, 2 primary schools, a canteen, and a field for sports activities. And the college that took over from this basic training will become, for the start of the 2020 to 2022 school year, the only high school in the Axis, allowing students to leave Bobia with its first university degree, the bachelor's. Thus, Bobia is the place where children from neighboring villages converge to receive their education. Trade in Bobia is mainly the activity of women. Focusing on food and other basic necessities, this trade was done either in the streets of the village or outside the village completely. Exposed to various bad weather, the women had difficulty carrying out this activity. It is in response to this arduous reality that the market was built. It then allows women to have shelter from wind, rain, and sun, but it is also a central point of life for the populations. Bobia is also the rural health center, where the populations of 3 neighboring villages come for their care. Behind this beautiful facade that Bobia offers, challenges present themselves to the population, which they must fight on a daily basis to maintain a standard of living. The major enemy of Bobia is erosion. The soil of this village is gravelly and stony. The rain very quickly deteriorates this soil with its runoff. Thus, the access roads, the village, the streets, and even the surroundings of the traditional houses are dug and made of gullies. To travel Bobia in rainy times is to risk at any time a fall into an unexpected trough that was non-existent the days before. By force, some alleys end up being impassable, even in milder weather. At the educational level, the school group. Certainly, it allows better supervision for the children of the village. However, it is subject to various realities that weaken its smooth running. There are no working electrical installations. This makes classes difficult or even impossible in overcast and shady weather. Inside the classrooms, there are no lights or electrical outlets. The school canteen is not functional because its facilities have not been completed. It lacks a kitchen, and the refectory is still under construction. Inside the school, there are no fountains, and the built latrines are not supplied with water. Classrooms do not have storage cabinets, leaving all belongings of students and teachers outdoors and at the mercy of anyone. The playground does not have the amenities required for sports activities. At the safety level, students and teachers are exposed to any type of danger. Kidnappers and animals of all kinds have easy access to it, as the perimeter of the establishment is not fenced. The entrances and exits on the site are therefore not filtered and controlled. In addition, there are only 6 official homes for a staff of 12 teachers, which forces the others to live outside of the village, a question that is for the teacher a source of stress and which could alter their performance. Economically, the populations of Bobia have kept the traditions of the ancestors. Bobia is the business of the same people from the great families who formed the village. It has diversified with marriages and the settlement of foreigners who come for the booming local economic activity. Young people, more than 90% of the global population, need training. Like the young people of the world today, they are plagued by certain vices and the desire for Western adventure. And yet these young people say they are ready to equip themselves with knowledge and acquire modern techniques in agriculture, fisheries, and other related fields to be more competitive. They are engaged alongside their fathers, and sometimes on their own, in the cultivation of cocoa, rice, and cassava. Some other young people have small service shops inside the village, but strive to diversify their activities and are looking for opportunities to increase their assets. The women are involved in the husking of rice and the trade of other food. The market. Let's talk about it. It is also unfortunately almost abandoned to the lack of fixed displays which allow a good organization of the site, and due to the erosion of the ground which threatens access. Women, instead of going to the market, prefer to return to the outskirts of the alleys of the village. The courtyard should be divided into fixed displays to allow better organization and occupancy. Bobia, because of the infrastructures already present despite the challenges, is the point of convergence of the populations of the 5 villages, was Godiabre, Obodropa, Kabia, Dikwe, and Tipadipa. With a private college turning into a boarding school for the start of the 2021 to 2022 school year, there is an abundance of opportunities and an influx of populations. Bobia is full of potential to rise to the standard of cosmopolitan lands as the dream of the entire population and especially of the Association of the Development of Bobia. Cultural development. The people of this village have a rich history of meaning surrounding its establishment and foundations, a legacy that remains to them until now and which constitutes a point of pilgrimage for all of the populations who return to the site, is the legend of Gako. Gako, this mythical place considered as a guardian and protector of matrimonial relations, could be the subject of a special development that would make it the major tourist attraction of the village. The Bete people are fond of great celebrations. The Association of the Development of Bobia, well aware of this value that cherishes man and living together, intends to build a multi-purpose complex and other buildings for the days of worldliness. The economic development of Bobia is the business of all sections of the population. The president of the association tells us about it now.
Je pense que vous avez dit bien le mot vision. C'est une vision. Moi, j'appelle ça Bobia 2030. C'est une vision. Et on a parlé aussi de Bobia digital. Ça veut dire quoi? Ça veut dire que nous, maintenant, on veut participer au développement partout où on se trouve dans le monde. Ça veut dire, c'est pas parce que tu es à Washington, c'est pas parce que tu es à Singapour que tu vas laisser tomber le développement du village. Donc, tout ce qu'on fait comme événement ici, c'est visioconférence. Ça veut dire que c'est vu automatiquement de l'extérieur pour que chacun profite pour que chacun apporte son truc. Donc, la vision, c'est que il faudra que les jeunes, parce que la population a 90% de jeunes maintenant, que les jeunes qui vivent dans ce village ne regrettent pas de vivre là, mais qui se sentent bien comme les jeunes de la ville. Premier objectif. Deuxièmement, ceux qui ont un certain âge avancé, qui arrivent à se soigner, normalement pour rester encore longtemps avec nous, revoir le problème de la santé pour que les gens se soignent et qu'ils puissent se prendre en charge correctement. Nos mamans qui sont dans ce village aussi, que leur effort qu'elles mettent pour nous donner à manger, ces efforts-là soient un peu aménisés. C'est pour ça qu'il faut la décortiqueuse de riz, il faut le broyeur de manioc, et de tomates. Il faut qu'on aille dans ce sens-là pour que les mécaniques dans la production alimentaire là, soient un peu facilitées. Vous avez maintenant le volet éducation. C'est ce qu'on cherche aussi. Bon, on a eu la chance qu'il y ait un cadre de ce village qui est venu mettre une école privée, qui est un lycée, et qui va susciter du développement. Donc ça, c'est déjà bon, mais nous, on ne s'arrête pas là. Dans cette vision-là, on ne veut pas qu'il y ait quelqu'un qui reste derrière. Donc pendant les vacances, on doit faire des cours de vacances, des camps de jeunesse, des trucs comme ça, du sport, tout ça, pour que ces jeunes-là s'habituent donc à l'esprit de solidarité et de développement. C'est ce qu'on cherche aussi. Vous avez le côté création d'activités économiques qui va leur permettre de se prendre en charge aussi. Voilà ce qu'on cherche. Donc, est-ce qu'on ne peut pas former ces jeunes-là à l'agriculture mécanisée peut-être pour qu'ils gagnent un peu leur vie? On ne peut pas les former à l'élevage. On ne peut pas les former à l'entrepreneuriat. Parce que tout à l'heure, vous avez vu un petit qui a un salon de coiffure. Voilà. Donc, ces genres de situations, c'est qu'eux, ils savent faire là. Est-ce qu'on ne peut pas les aider dedans pour qu'ils le fassent mieux? Voilà. Donc, ces activités génératives de revenus vont leur permettre de se prendre en charge. Voilà ce qu'on cherche. Voilà en gros les volets socio-économiques, culturels et santé.
The subdivision. To definitively solve the concern caused by erosion in Bobia, but also to face the challenge of extending this increasingly popular village and whose population is growing, it is more than urgent to think about subdivision. Redefine the streets, level the cracked soils, and explore the perimeters of forests in the vicinity to enlarge the village. This is what will restore a burst of refinement to the nugget of gold that is Bobia. The youth and women who are the primary leaders of this local action say they are ready to embrace new business and development opportunities. Writer Charles Baudelaire once said, "You gave me your mud and I made gold out of it." The people of Bobia, the chiefdom and the association of the development of Bobia are well aware that behind this veil of mud thickened by poverty hides a nugget of incredible value. So they are ready to multiply their efforts and welcome any support necessary to revalue this heritage of the fathers alongside all of the benevolent partners, because as another saying goes, the mud hides a ruby but does not stain it. So they are ready to multiply their efforts and welcome any support necessary to revalue this heritage of the fathers alongside all the benevolent partners, because as another saying goes, the mud hides a ruby, but does not stain it. See you soon to realize together the dream of the Bobia of tomorrow, Bobia Digital.